your online social science classes, and I am here, your social science teacher Sangeeta Behra. Hello students, so today we are back with your online social science classes for the class 10 chapter number 1 for the geography subject, that is resources and development, and today we will conclude this chapter with the final part of this chapter. Okay, so students, let's start with the soil as a resources. As we are already discussed in our previous parts about the development of resources, and land is a important resource to be regenerated. Okay, and we had already discussed about the land degradation and its conservation part in the previous parts of this chapter, and today we are going to discuss about the soil as a resources and how we will do the safety of the soil resources and how the soil is being classified into different types in India. We will discuss in this part of this chapter. Okay, and we will conclude with this one also in today's online classes. So let's start with the soil as a resources. Okay, so as you all know, soil can be the renewable important natural resources which can be useful for the future generation also. Okay, as we are having the natural processes of the reformation of soils in the nature itself. So soil is the most important renewable natural resource. Okay, so it is a medium of plant growth and different types of living organisms on the earth. So you can say soil as a living system also. Okay, so students, as we already discussed, soil is a living system. How it will be a living system? Tell me. As it is helpful for the plant growth and it's also helpful to the different types of living organisms on the earth. Okay, like earthworm. Okay, they used to stay inside the soil itself, right? So you can also say like this, that as it's giving a life to the particular plants and the small living organisms, that's why it's also called as the living system and also a renewable natural resources, right? So students, let's discuss what are the main factors which are helpful in the formation of the soil. Those are number 1 relief, number 2 parent rock, number 3 the climatic conditions, number 4 is the vegetable conditions or the vegetation conditions, and number 5 is the main factor which is that is time. Okay, so what are those? Again we can let's discuss on that. Those are relief features, number 2 is the climatic conditions, number 3 is the vegetation types, number 4 is the time, and number 5 is parent rock. Okay, or you can say the bedrock also. So these are the various factors which are important or play a vital role in the formation of soil. Okay, so what are the various forces, what are the natural various forces which are also helpful in the formation of soil? Those are the changes in temperature, action of the running water of river or streams like that. Okay, and the wind and the glaciers, and also the activities of decomposers are also useful for the formation of the soil formation. Okay, and even the chemical and organic changes are also helpful for the formation of soil. So let's have a look on the soil profile, how we will get if we will dig the soil for up to 1 meter down to the earth. Okay, we will get the topsoil, the upper soil level, or you can do the upper soil layer, subsoil weathered rocks, sand and silt clay, substratum weathered parent rock materials, and the unweathered parent rock bedrock, or you can say the parent rocks. Okay, and after that we can get the groundwater level. So this is the soil profile. Check in your figure number 1.5 in the page number 7. and get remembered also that what are the main things we will get in the soil profile. On the topmost portion we will get the topsoil, the upper soil layer which we can able to see. Okay, and the subsoil weathered rock, salt and silt clay is just down to the topsoil layer, and to the down to the subsoil weathered rocks we will get the substratum weathered parent rock material, and down to that we will get the unweathered parent bed rock. Okay, so here we will conclude it with this diagram, and you should mention this if you will get how to define the soil profile in your examination. Okay, so students, remember this thing, and let's have a discussion on the classification of the soils. How we will classify the soils, due to which factors are responsible for making the soil formation and the classification also. So on the basis of the color, thickness, age, texture, chemical and physical properties, the soils in India are being classified into different types. Major soil types are mostly 6 major types you can get in Indian climate. Okay, which is being classified due to the color, thickness, texture, age, chemical and physical properties. Okay, so what are those? Those are number 1 alluvial soils, number 2 laterite soils, number 3 red and yellow soil, number 4 black soil, number 5 it is the arid soil, number 6 is the mountainous and the forest soils. Okay, so major 6 types of soil types you can get in India according to the color, thickness, texture, age, chemical and physical properties. Okay, so students, let's have a discussion on the classification of soil also. Okay, so India has varied relief features, landforms, climate relief and the vegetation types. These have contributed in the development of various types of soils. Okay, so let's first start with the alluvial soil. What are the alluvial soils? Where we will get it? We will get it near the river banks. Okay, so this is the most widely spread and the important soil, because most of the plain area, means the northern plain area which is having the depositions of the soil through the rivers is having this type of soil. And what is that? Alluvial soil. Okay, so these have been deposited by 3 important Himalayan river systems, the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, and it's created what? The northern plain. Okay, and it's very much useful for the agricultural purposes. So these soils also extend in Rajasthan and Gujarat through a narrow corridor. Okay, so alluvial soil is also found in the eastern coastal plains, particularly in the deltas of Mahanadi, Godavari and Krishna Kaveri rivers. So what are those rivers which is included in the eastern coastal plains are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Okay, so this is the figure 1.6. See, this is the type of soil we can found in mostly the northern plain and the eastern coastal plain areas. Okay, so the alluvial soil consists of various portions of sand, silt and clay, as it's bring the depositions of the soils through the rivers. Okay, so as we move inland towards the river valleys, soil particles appear somewhat bigger in the size. The upper reaches of the river valley, near the place of the break of slope, the soils are coarse. Such soils are more common in pigment plains, okay, such as dwarfs, chores, terrains. Like this, these are the main common pigment plains which is found in northern plain area. Okay, so apart from the size of the grains and components, soils are also described as the basis of their age. Okay, means how long, how old the soil is. In that also the soil is being classified, their qualities. Okay, so according to their age, alluvial soils are also known as new alluvial soil and the old alluvial soil. What are those old alluvial soils? Those are known as Bangar. Okay, new alluvial soil is known as Khadar. The Bangar soil has higher concentration of Kankan nodules than the Khadar. Okay, It has more fine particles and is more fertile than the burger. Okay. So alluvial soil as a whole are very fertile, as it's the full deposition portion of the rivers. Means whatever river brings with their flows to the plain area, means to the land area, that is only known as the alluvial soil. Okay. So alluvial soil is having much fertile qualities in it. Mostly these soils contains adequate proportion of the potash, phosphoric and acid and lime, which are ideal for growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat and other cereals and pulse crops. Okay. So as we are already knows, the northern plains are very much rich in cultivating this type of crops, wheat, cereals, pulse crops and the paddy, sugarcanes, right? So due to its high fertility, regions of alluvial soils are intensively cultivated and densely populated. So in those areas also the population is high, right? Because most of the people will get the sufficient amount of food in that area, isn't it? So due to this, alluvial soil is most important soil, you can say, for the agricultural purposes. Okay. So it's also a dried area, more alkaline and also productive for more proper treatment and the irrigation also. As the rivers are also close to this soil area, so irrigation problems are also not there. Okay. So here we will conclude it with the alluvial soil. So let's discuss about the black soil. What it's having its quality in it. Okay. These soils are black in color and are also known as regur soil. So black soil is ideal for growing cotton and is also known as the black cotton soil. Okay. So it is believed that climatic condition along with the parent rock material are the important factors for the formation of black soil. So the type of soil is typically in the Deccan Tract. The basalt region spread over the northeast Deccan plateaus and made up of lava flows. Okay. So they cover the plateaus of Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh and extend in the southeast direction along with the Godavari and Krishna valleys. Okay. The black soil used to looks like this. See, even the black soil is not having that much fertile quality in that because of the lava particles are mixed with that soil. Okay. So the black soils are made up of extremely fine clay material. They are well known for their capacity to hold moisture. In addition, they are rich in soil nutrients such as the calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and what? And lime. Okay. So these soils are generally poor in phosphoric content. They develop deep cracks during hot weather. So mostly drought prone area is also comes under that the Deccan plateaus. Okay. So you should be careful if you are staying in those areas. At that time you should be careful about the main irrigation problems. So these soils are sticky when wet and difficult to work on unless tilted immediately. After the first shower during the pre-monsoon period, means when the rain came in that area, then only it can be possible to dig out those soils for the agricultural purposes. Okay. So here we also concluded with the black soil. Let's go for the red and yellow soils. And after completion of all soils descriptions, we will discuss in the maps. Okay, the map works with the soil types. Okay, so let's discuss with the red and yellow soils. Red soils develop on crystalline igneous rocks in the areas of low rainfall in the eastern and the southern parts of the Deccan Plateau. Okay, so yellow and red soils are also found in the part of Odisha, Chhattisgarh, south parts of the Middle Ganga plains and along the pigment zone of the western Ghats. These soils develop a reddish color due to the diffusion of iron in crystalline and metamorphic rocks. It looks yellow when it occurs in a hydrated form. Okay. So this is not having that much of use in the agricultural purposes, as it is already the igneous rock which is crystalline through the lava molten lava depositions. Okay. So let's have a discussion on the laterite soils. Okay. Laterite are derived from the Latin word later, which means brick. The laterite soil develops under tropical and subtropical climate with alternate wet and dry conditions, or you can say alternate wet and dry seasons. This soil is result of intense leaching due to the heavy rain. Lateritic soils are mostly deep to very deep acidic, having the pH value of more than 6.0. Okay. Generally deficient in the plant nutrients and occur mostly in the southern states. Western Ghats region of Maharashtra, Odisha, some part of West Bengal and northeast regions, where this soil supports deciduous and evergreen forests. Okay, it is humus rich but under sparse. See, this is the laterite soils. Okay, the picture of a laterite soil. So this comes under the sparse vegetation and in the semi-arid environment. It is generally humus poor. They are prone to erosion and degradation due to their position on the landscape. After adopting appropriate soil conservation techniques, particularly in the hilly areas of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, this soil is very useful for growing teas and coffees. So red laterite soils in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala are more suitable for crop like cashew nuts also. Okay. So most of the part of these soils are being used for the cultivation of tea and coffee as well as the cashew nuts. Okay. So let's discuss with the arid soil now. Arid soils ranges from the red to brown in color. They are generally sandy in texture and saline in nature. In some areas, the salt content is very high in this type of soils. Okay, and it's also easily evaporated due to the hot conditions. Due to the dry climate, high temperature, evaporation is faster and the soil lacks humus and moisture in it. The lower origins of the soil are occupied by the canker because of the increasing calcium content down. As this soil is occupied by the canker soils, or we can say canker layers, so the canker layer formation usually restrict the infiltration of the water, due to which it also creates the lacking of humus and moisture in this soil. So most of these soils are being found near the western Rajasthan areas, and after proper irrigation these soils become cultivable. Okay, or we can use for the cultivation purposes. Otherwise it can't be possible for the cultivation purposes throughout in this soil. Okay, see, this is the portion of, if small picture is given in your book 1.9, the part of arid soil which is found mostly in the western Rajasthan. Okay, so students, here we have concluded with the arid soils also. Let's go for the discussion on the forest soils. These soils are found in mostly which area? In the hilly and mountainous areas, as we have found most of the mountainous areas are full of forest. Okay, so where the rain are sufficient and forests are being found in those areas. The soil texture varies according to the mountain environment where they are used to form. They are loamy and silty in valley sides and coarse grained in the upper slopes. In the snow-covered areas of Himalayas, these soils experience denudation and are acidic with low humus content. Okay, so the soils found in the lower part of the valleys, particularly on the river traces and alluvial fans, are fertile and useful for the agricultural purposes in the mountainous areas. Okay, so like this we had concluded with all type of soils which is being classified in the Indian environment. Okay, so let's have a look on soil erosion and soil conservation also. Why the soil erosion happens and how we can conserve the soil. So the degradation of soil cover and subsequent washing down is described as the soil erosion. Means यदि बहुत ही ज़्यादा तरह से सॉइल कवर को धो दिया जाए, मोस्टली ड्यू टू द रिवर फ्लो और द overflowing of rivers causes this type of soil erosion. Okay, they used to wash out all the soil from particular area to the another. So like that the soil erosion happens in that area. The processes of soil formation and erosion go on simultaneously and generally they are at the balance between the two. So the same process, when they washed out, in the same process they will also use to deposit the soils in a particular area, isn't it? So like that simultaneously the process will go on one by one. Means some erosion part is also happening and the deposition part is also happening through the river processes. Okay. So sometimes this balance is disturbed due to the human activities like deforestation, overgrazing, construction, mining, like that activities. If the human is used to do, at that time also some soil erosion is happening in those particular area. While natural forces like rain, glacier and water leads to the soil erosion. Okay. Due to the rain, glacier and water also the soil erosion happens. Okay. The running water cuts through the clay soils and makes deep channels as gullies. So what is gullies? Let's see, check these gullies. Okay. This is the picture, figure 1.11 in page number 11. And this is the gully picture, and see how the erosion is happen in this portion. Mostly it's happened due to the wash out of the soil. See this area, how the soils are washed out due to the flowing of river. Okay, so this type of gullies are happening. This is the one example of soil erosion, which is happens due to the running waters, and it cuts the portion and it's washed out the soils in it. Okay, so the land becomes unfit for the cultivation and is also known as the bad land. In the Chambal basin, such as lands called as ravine. So friends, in Chambal basins, those lands are known as ravine. Which land? Those badlands which is created the gully formation. Okay, so sometimes like this the water flows and the badlands are being formed or the ravines are formed. Okay, so sometimes water flows as a seeds over large areas down a slope. In such cases the soil is washed away. This is known as the soil erosion, or you can say the seed erosion. Like this, see this picture in 1.10. The soil erosion, the seed erosions are also being described in this picture. See how the seed by seed is. How the seed wise it is being eroded. See this one seed, this one is another seed, and this one is the third seed. Like this, it's being eroded. Okay. So you will get this idea, and due to wind blows also, loose soils or flat and sloping land known as the wind erosion. Soil erosion is also caused due to the defective methods of farming also. Overgrazing also it's happening, and if you will use the different type of chemicals and fertilizers also, the soil erosions are happening in those areas. Okay. Flowing is also a wrong way. Up and down the slope form channels for the quick flow of water, leading to soil erosion. So flowing along the contour lines can decelerate the flow of water down to the slope. This is called as contour flowing. Okay. So steps can be cut out on the slopes, making traces. Terrace cultivation restricts erosion. Usually in the Himalayan areas, means most of the mountainous areas, the terrace farming are being done for the agricultural purposes. Okay. So large fields can be divided into strips. Strips of grass are left to grow between the crops. This breaks up the force of the wind. Okay. This method is known as the strip cropping. So planting lines of the trees to create shelter also works in a similar way to conserve the soil erosion. Rows of such trees are also called as shelter belt. which we have already studied in our class 8. Okay. So these center belts have contributed significantly the stabilization of sand dunes and in stabilizing the desert in the western India. Okay. So like this we had concluded with the portions of the conservation and the soil erosion part. As we already discussed, we can discuss of the map works also in this chapter. So here is the map. Map with the major soil types which is classified in India according to its texture, age, climate, etc. Okay. So in this map you can have a good idea that in which area the major type of soils are being found. Okay. So check out this map in your book, the soil major type, and see how the map is being divided into different types of soil. See the green portions which indicates the forest and mountainous region. Okay, and the alluvial is also there, and the red and yellow soils are also there, black are also there, the laterites are also there, and the arid soils are also there. Okay, so like this you can able to recognize through this index, it seems the proper green portion whichever is covered through the mountainous areas. See these areas are mostly comes under the the forest mountains areas. Okay, or you can see the forest soils, it's covered nearly the mountainous regions area of India. Okay, and second is the alluvial soil which covers the total basin area. See, check this one total basin area of rivers Ganga, Brahmaputra and West Bengal portion. You can go to check. This is the alluvial soils. Okay, in these regions you can find the alluvial soil, and which is very much fertile in its quality. Okay, so like this, through this index help you can find out all other major soil types also. Okay, and while if sometimes the things will come in your examination, then just get remember of this map works and put it the right area for the right soil type. Okay, so students, here we will conclude the map works and hope you will get the idea of the map works through the indexes given in this map. Okay, so before concluding of this chapter, let's have a good look of a general knowledge. It's being given by the source of Citizen 5th Report 1999 Center of Science and Environment, New Delhi, which gave a general information, or you can say general knowledge about the conservation of forests, or you can say conservation of land and soils in the village of Sukho Majri. It's in district of Jhabua and of the state Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so just have a look on this. It's just a general knowledge to know how they had conserved the land degradation. Okay, so the village of Sukho Majri and the district of the Jhabua have shown that it is possible to reverse land degradation. Tree density in Sukho Majri increased from 13 per hectare in 1976 to 1272 per hectare in 1992. So they had planted the trees and they had saved the land degradation, or you can say conserve the land degradation. Okay, so the regeneration of the environment leads to economic well-being as a result of greater resource availability, improved agricultural and animal care, and consequently increase their incomes also. Average annual household income in Sukho Majri ranged from rupees 10,000 to 15,000 between 1974 to 1984. Okay. So like this, people's participation also improve in conserving the land and soil. Okay, so people's management is essential for ecological restoration. With people being made the decision makers by the Madhya Pradesh government, 2.9 million hectares or above 1% of India's land area are being greened across the state through watershed management. So about watershed management we can learn in our next chapters. Okay, so till then, take care of your health, stay healthy, stay safe, and complete the exercises whatever given in your NCERT textbooks. Okay, and send the homeworks as soon as possible to our numbers. So thank you very much for watching this video and taking care of the online learning processes. Okay.